This is the Red Lover Show of me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Wood. We're going to preview Barnsley versus Wycombe, a tough one this weekend, and also discuss his chances of the top two, which I'm not going to name any names, but some of us thought we would have been dropping like a stone now and going into the abyss of mid-table and looking over his shoulders, potentially at relegation. Not to mention anyone, but it might be the person who's below me. Unsure. Let's get into it. So, Craig, we'll come to you first because obviously I'm not sure if everyone picked up on, but you did anticipate after we lost to Bradford 5-1 that we had the potential to drop like a stone, which, in all fairness, at the time, it seemed like that was a high possibility. But obviously, sort of not since then, but obviously from January onwards when we brought in Josh Earl, Donovan Pines, it looks like we actually might have an opportunity for the top two.
Yeah, but back then though, I mean, the football has completely changed from what it was back then. I think Collins has grown as a coach. I think he understands the team a lot better than he did back then. We don't seem to be chopping and changing players as much as we did back then as well. Obviously, the additions in January made a huge difference. Luke Connell had only just come back into the fold back then, and he's in the past month and a half to 2 months. I think he's really started to get that link up with the central midfielders again, which is why I think the performances have started to get a lot better over the past few months. And yeah, back then I didn't see a style of play. I didn't see a way forward. You know, when you come off a result like that against Bradford team, when we fielded a fairly strong team, we did have a couple of young players in there, but majority were first teamers. You do get to think that your team's not going to be able to recover, you know. But hey, get to Collins, get to the coaching staff, get to the board even for making the right additions in January. We seem to have completely turned the tables, and yeah, top two is there now. I think even top spot. I mean, I'm not even calling that out yet. I mean, we're only games in hand. If we win them, we're only 4 points behind Portsmouth. I don't think we'll catch them because I think they're a brilliant team and they're playing brilliant at the minute and they seem fairly unstoppable. I mean, the drew against Carlisle, the drew against Charlton, so they have got the odd draw or loss in them. Just like Derby and Bolton seem to be hitting a fairly skinny patch. And so yeah, I think we're one of the most informed teams in the league now. We're playing good football. Everybody's in high spirits. Oakwell's full again. The crowd are singing again. You know, and everything's positive. I can't like if you pit. I mean, last week up to back then, it's a complete and utter opposition contrast. It really is. And yeah, the good vibes around the club at the minute.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Craig? I do worry a bit because it feels a bit like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Has Joe Beardsall taken over your body or something like that, and he's in disguise? Because all of a sudden, just one word answers. That's all you need, Craig. Well, you're wrong.
Yes.
Right. Just so you know, and everybody else knows, the merch shop. Sorry, Josh. The merch shop has now got a red all over wrongin t-shirt on sale. So truthfully, I expect you to buy one, Craig, and wear it.
The way
Wear
to my
it.
size, mate.
They
To be
do.
quite
They
honest.
do. They do. Trust me, they
All
do.
right, okay. All right,
Yeah.
I'll check. I'll check.
A
I'll get one.
wrong
If they've got my size, I'll get one and
they've
I'll
got
wear
your
it.
size. Wrong and t-shirt. You need to wear it for the rest of the season. They mind that Barnsley shirt. Wronging.
But I will just add, I might have been
If we
wrong
drop
on that
away,
one thing, but I've been right about a lot of other things that have happened as well.
oh
Yeah,
no,
So
we're only interested
oh.
in the wrong bits though.
that's it. See,
We're not
can't
interested
pick
in
and
those times, you're
choose.
correct. We're not interested in those. Al, obviously, a good set of results for us last night as well. Derby and Bolton both dropping points, and sort of giving us that impetus now that it's almost back in our hands of if we win every game to end the season, which obviously is some task and not very, very unlikely to happen. But it would see us over the line, I think, given that we have to play Bolton like within the next week or so, there could be a massive swing within our position in the league of pick up a result on Saturday, and then we go and beat Bolton. Suddenly, it's very much all to play for it. That top two.
It's definitely all to play for. It reminded me last night when I'm watching and seeing what were happening when we got promoted under Stendhal, wasn't it, on that Thursday when we went to Bristol Rovers. We got promoted without kicking a ball. And same last night. What you want to put money on both losing, Derby to Charlton, and as I said, Bolton at Wigan. Our favourite club, Wigan, now. I'll tell you that. Wigan fans, we love you. But yeah, what is it? 33 games we've played now, 63 points, 2 games in hand of Derby, 3 points behind. This table's looking good, isn't it? And 3 points behind Bolton now with one game in hand. It's in his own hands. We've got to take one game at a time. We ain't got to get carried away, and that's what I'm hoping. Gaffer's sorting out Neil Collins to keep them grounded, because at the end of the day, it's in our hands now. Not anybody else's. It's up to us. And difficult game Saturday going to Wycombe, because they've I think they won the last 9 at home. So that's not going to be an easy place to go to, Adams Park. But seeing as we've only lost one away at Derby, it's in our hands, and I'm excited. I really am excited. I was doing an iron last night and to see what happened on pitch at Wigan, where Ian Evatt started going on and having a fight again. It was similar to what happened last season at Bolton when we had a 0-0 and him and Luke O'Connell had a set to. And what can you say?
Can't take losing Ian Evatt, can it? He hates it.
It set his stall out, and their fans are saying, I wish they'd show some fight during game rather than end at game. Keep it coming for me. Keep it coming. And I've seen Bolton fans today wanting his head.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one, that, in terms of obviously you want to see that, in a way you want to see that passion, but you want to see it channeled in the right ways, not at the end of a game. You want to see it during the game, and it's almost as though the pressure's got a bit too much for him at this moment in time, and it seems to be especially compounded by the result at the weekend as well, which they suffered. It seems like tempers frayed a little too much. One player I do want to pull out, Andy, obviously, during this fine run of form in which we're currently on, is Adam Phillips, who I think since Luke O'Connell's come back into that sort of holding role, allowing him to go back to more of a positioning where he's in last season, in more familiar surroundings, and then especially since Jordan Williams has gone back to right wing back, as you call him, the magician has well and truly been back to his best.
He most certainly has. He's a mixture of the great Soprendo and Paul Daniels, isn't it? When we need him to, he pulls a rabbit out of the hat. He's what can you say? He's a quality footballer, and it's there for all to see. It is better for him having Luca at one side and then Jordan now at the other side of him. It makes a difference to him. He can pass a ball in places that people can only dream about. On Saturday, I think I said it before, on Saturday at home, on Saturday against Derby, I was saying to Taylor, who sits at side of me, before there were any goals, that he's the equivalent for us. He's Kevin De Bruyne for us, because he can find a pass that nobody else can see, let alone do. I think he's that good. I know it's League One, but he's that good. So when you can pick out a pass like he can and link how he can, and then now with the confidence that the two around him has given him to shoot again like he can, I'm sure his dad Lee's taught him all he knows, but that's what he says anyway, Alan. What Lee does say, and I don't like betraying what Lee does says, he's taught him all he knows, except if it were Lee, he'd hit Rose head with it rather than back the net. So he's not taught him everything. So he's added that, the goal at the weekend, the ball's up in the air, he controls it, sets himself to be able to control it, to step back, and then no goalkeeper saving that, just whacks it. And then, they're all, I don't know if they're all marking big men or whatever, but he's there at the front post, get in. And it means so much to everybody. The only thing I would say is that we need to be careful about not getting too giddy. I know it's easy to get giddy after beating Derby on Saturday, Bolton getting hammered on Saturday with 10 men, and then last night's results. They are two quality teams. You got to remember that. Both Derby and Bolton are quality teams. So don't get too giddy. You know, if we can do well on Saturday against Wycombe, and if we can do well against Bolton, then we can't argue with it. But you know, it could all come crashing down. You know, it's only going to take a couple for.
Yeah, man.
It does. It's only going to.
Faith.
It's only going to take a
Have
couple
faith
of
in
days.
God.
It'll only take a couple of defeats for Twitter to have a meltdown and get the manager out, sack the players, sack the board, get out of our club. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Hopefully, from now on, we'll stop all that nonsense and get behind the players. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm expecting. And if they don't, then I expect everybody else to call them out for the stupidity. Everybody's entitled to opinion, but call them out for it. You've come out with all the sayings, Al. You know, it's in our hands and all that. Keep them going, Al. Keep them. We could do a clip, Al, of just you coming out. You missed out. The boys done good, and it's a game of two halves. And all
So
that.
I've got a stat for you now about Phillips from Barnsley Stats, what they put on Twitter. Adam Phillips's brace in the 2-1 win over Derby at Oakwell on Saturday made him the 24th Red to score 2+ goals in consecutive home games, but only the 4th when they were the Reds' only scorers. So he's down in the history books with Irish Swan, 1901, Tommy Taylor, 1953, Stuart Gray, 1986, and Adam Phillips, 2024. That's
So
a damn good start.
So what if he scores 2 goals this Saturday, Al? Where will that put him?
Record holder.
So 3 on trot. 3 on trot, Al.
A hat trick of braces. There you go.
Only you, Al.
And that goal he scored with his head reminded me at Wembley one. Isgrove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I thought Pines flicked it on. It won Pines. It was Adam Phillips. If you look at replay, Pines misses it just by an inch.
Well, he should have got his head on it. How can you send
No, I'm glad he missed it.
Get on it.
That's USA for you. That's USA for you, isn't it?
One thing I would like to highlight as well is the aerial prowess in which he's had. Obviously, of them 2 goals he scored in the 2 braces he scored over the last 2 games at home, 2 of them have been headers as well. He's a threat from set piece with a corner. And to be honest, my favourite goal of the bunch in which he scored over this run is the header against Leyton Orient for the quality of pass from MDG and just having that confidence to run beyond the lines as well, to break.
The anticipation that the keeper's
to
coming
break
out as well.
forward as well, in front of the strikers. That's what we've been missing, I think, from him in this first part of the season, is that he's not had the confidence or the free roam to do that because of the way in which the team have been set up sort of defensively, to not allow him to really go forward because of sort of new wing backs in position, and just sort of the newness of the team at the time anyway, of a different older midfielder. Back 3 been a bit shaky, so it's almost like let's look after ourselves first rather than doing that. It's nice to see now that there is that confidence within
and it's
sort of the
nice
team
to
as
see,
a whole.
Josh, that we've got as last season's top midfield, and we've said it before. Herbie Kane, Luke Connell, and Phillips. You can't beat it in League One. I reckon it's still best midfield in this league.
I'd agree with that.
The other thing that Adam did, I can't remember which game, to be honest, but the one where Bazacotta took a long throw and he were at the front post, attacked it, and headed it back for us to score a goal. So, you know, he nodded it on. So you're right. He's showing prowess in everything he does.
I think as well, I saw a stat of he is joint top in, I don't know if it's all leagues since 2024 of goal contributions with, I can't remember if it's 5 goals, 4 assists or 4 goals, 5 assists.
Top equal. Well, he needs to pull his finger out on Saturday, doesn't he? And
I think he's equal at least for Chris Martin, because he scored 8 and assisted 1. And he might be equal with Jody Jones. Might have something like 8 assists and 1 goal.
Sort it out then, Adam. Sort it out.
So no pressure, but there's 2 records that are on there. 2 goals again for a hat trick of braces, and then if he does that, he'll probably go clear of that as well. So no pressure, Adam, but at least 2 goals this weekend.
Can I just can you all stop starting on Ian Evatt? I like Ian Evatt. He amuses me every time I see him. He amuses me. Don't spoil me amusement. I wait to see it. It used to be him and Steve Evans. Used to wait to see him explode. Don't spoil it for me.
One of my favourite managers in the EFL due to his angry outbursts. Right. So looking forward to Saturday then, as we come up against Wycombe Wanderers. So looking at a stat pack, Matt Bloomfield in charge, top scorer Luke Leahy with 8 goals, also key player because I think he's also got the most assists for that for Wycombe so far this season. Sat 14th in the league, form patchy overall with win, loss, win, draw, loss in the last 5. Set up in a 4-2-3-1, and the key stat is Wycombe are unbeaten in their last 9 home games with 5 wins and 4 draws. That is also inclusive of Papa John's Trophy games as well in
Yeah, I
that.
was just about to
Also,
say that. Then it's 7 without.
yeah, if you had I think if they Brighton and someone else, Bradford. Brighton under 21s and Bradford in that run as well. So, Craig, obviously a tough side to come up against when they're at home, and obviously picking up a result yesterday against Cheltenham. So, how would you feel about this one? Because Wycombe previously under Ainsworth, they've been a side that we've always struggled against, even in the season. Was it last year when we got 3-0 by them in August? It was almost like a crash back down to earth, sort of from the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they are a solid mid-table team in this division. I don't think they're any better than that, really. They've got some good players. You think of Sam Vokes is one of the standout strikers. Luke Leahy, as you've said. But really, I know you said that they're unbeaten at home in the last 9, but this is actually a really bad season for home form for them, because currently they're 16th in league in home form, whereas in previous seasons they've been 9th and 5th. So they're not as strong as they have been at home in previous seasons. I think that's something to do with the manager change, obviously, with Gareth Ainsworth. As soon as they lost him, I think they're in that rebuilding process where they need to find their identity again. That's why I think you're going to see sporadic results where they're going to come up and they're going to smash somebody like Peterborough, and then they're going to go ahead and lose against lower down teams. And but I think the thing that we're going to miss the most in this match is their goalkeeper. And I really wanted to see him perform at his best again. Because I give him a solid 10 for that dive. Also, I think we being on a Saturday as well is going to help us, because we played them on a Tuesday night in his last game, and it was a really drab match. So I'm hoping a bit of sunlight, an actual 90-minute performance from us. Will really come in handy. But like I say, it's just a shame their goalkeeper's not going to be playing. So we're up against the reserve goalkeeper, a young Argentinian goalkeeper. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game, but one I think we should definitely be winning.
I think it's a good point there, Craig, which made of obviously it's a game which we should be winning, Al, but obviously it's starting to get to that point of season now where every game feels like a must win, and dropping points, even if it's a draw or a loss, it feels that much more painful than what it would do at the beginning of the season. So we are starting to get to sort of the business end now, aren't we?
We definitely are, and I think we played them 5 times. We won 4, they've won 1 last season. I'd take same again on Saturday. I'm looking forward to going to Adams Park. Teddy's got an 85th minute winner. We beat him 1-0 last season. So, and that was Alfie Mawson when Alfie Mawson retired from playing football. It's not an easy place to go. It's tough. When Ainsworth worked gaffer, it was also on touchline and getting at ref. So they ain't got that at the side. I don't know whether new managers got that same tactic as Ainsworth did. So we've got to go there, Edzell die, and start up front foot again. We've got to get first goal. You don't want to go behind like we have been. But I mean, last couple of games we've gone behind and at home and had 2 victories, haven't we? So we've got to be on front foot. Interested to see it line up again. I'm hoping it's going to be the same starting 11, but who knows? He might want to change it. He might want Cosgrove up front playing against Wycombe. So it's an interesting selection he's going to have. I'm assuming it'll be the same back three. I don't think McCarthy will come in, but who knows what Neil Collins is going to do.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point you mentioned there, Al, because obviously we're playing on Saturday, Bolton playing on Saturday. They've had obviously the extra midweek game. Do you think there'll be a bit of Neil Collins that has got one eye on the Bolton game, Andy, of sort of thinking if there's any flexibility within selection choices or players that we could potentially rest just so we can be a little bit safer for that Bolton game?
I wouldn't have thought so myself, but who knows? I mean, it depends how the game pans out. If the game pans out positively for us, and touch wood, we get we go a few goals in front, then I could see there being a few changes to rest certain players ready for the Bolton game. But I wouldn't. Don't change your winning side, particularly the way that we played. But don't tinker. Don't tinker too much, and try and. The next game's the most important one, not the game after that. What, as Alan said, as one of his little sayings, one game at a time. So that's what we should do. I mean, Matt, I don't see they'll play that differently because they play. I've done an away end, Josh, just recently recorded. So
I've
so
been
watch
waiting
out.
for you to bring this up.
I know,
I've been
I
waiting
know,
for you to
I know.
bring it up.
Watch out for it, folks. What he says, what George from the Wycombe way says is that they don't play as much football. I'm not sure they played that much before, but they get the ball forward and they get it. They've got some quick players and they get it up. It's going to be a number of players different from the match at Oakwell. He felt that they played very defensively and played for a draw against us at Oakwell, and they'll be much more expansive at home. They've moved out about on loan or otherwise about 6 or 7 players and brought a few in. That's improved. Improved their squad. So a couple of permanent signings, a couple of loans, and of course they've got Josh Scowen as well. So it's not going to be easy. Matt Bloomfield has been there for years and years. He started off his career as a young lad at I think at Ipswich, but he didn't play. I think it was Ipswich, but he didn't play at all. He played his first match for Wycombe, and he played 488 games for them, a one club player, and then continued stopping there, and obviously took over when Ainsworth left. So, it's steeped in it. So I don't see there being that much change. He'll do it his own way, and he's doing it his own way, and it's going to take some time. Hopefully, he'll start week after. But they did thump Peterborough. They absolutely thumped him. What he's also said, just for a bit of, teaser, that they do lose games, as we all know, but they don't lose. They usually lose by 1 goal. It's been a long while since they've lost by more than 1 goal.
Oh, we know your predictions
Oh,
will be then,
that's
don't
what a
He's
surprise
leading himself
room
into
for
this
you.
one, isn't he? Leading in top at league, isn't he?
Oh, what a surprise!
Listen, I know when I go on a win, I normally lie and try and be kind. Oh, I didn't this time. I said what I thought this time. I told him what I thought. So
We don't want to know what you said.
I'm not going to say it, Alan. I'm not going to say it. But I don't expect you to join my club, mine and Reese Pierce's club and all the rest of them. I don't expect it, Al. It's
Boring
an exclusive club. And, I don't want to be a member of a club that would have you as a member, Alan, truthfully.
I'm not a follower. I'm not a follower, Mr. Simcox. I'm 65 years and I'm still not a follower of you. I love you, but I don't follow what you do.
That's why you're not a winner, Al. That's where you are in the league table and where I am, Al, because you don't. You go your own way, Al.
All these years, I've always held you up, Mr. Simcox.
You have. You've held me back, Alan. You go do a Fleetwood Mac, Al. You go your own way, Al. You'll be all right.
Craig,
yeah, so sign some players. Lovely. What a play. Don't forget Josh Gowan, like I said. He didn't play last night, but, he's a good player. They've signed Lubala, who I'm told, he scored a late goal. They signed him right at the end of January. Permanent signing. And Butcher, Matt Butcher, midfield player. He says they've strengthened their club with a couple of signings, and they've got a couple on loan as well that he believes has improved their squad. So hopefully George is exactly right, and they come at us, but we match them, because if they come out of the traps and we do, it should be a good game, not a bore fest like it were at Oakwell until the goal of the month was scored.
I'm seeing a few people on Twitter at the minute doing a few things of like most underrated player, best goal at season, things like that, and no one's put Cosgrove yet. From ones I've seen, which I've been disappointed about. People on about this lob that McAtee did against Port Vale, note compared to Cosgrove's rifled efforts against Wycombe. Craig,
The only thing that was sad about that is he should have got down on floor and nodded it in. That would I'd have liked to have seen that.
Just a little bit extra. In terms of obviously we've got every game to play, Craig, and every game is almost like a cup final and a must win. How would you approach it in terms of having one eye on Bolton as well at the weekend? Because obviously they probably are going to be two games that need a slightly different approach. You can imagine Wycombe being a little bit more direct than what Bolton are going to be, which probably means we might need to start Sam Cosgrove just to have a bit of presence and stop that ball coming back with sort of their strong defensive stalwarts have got in there, and just to try and stop that ball coming back. And I think probably Pines will start as well, just to give us something to counter anything that they knock on.
Yeah, they're going to be big on set pieces. I think they've always been known for scoring set pieces. Good stat for you. They've had the most amount of penalties awarded this season as well. So they've got
They've
a few
not scored
tumble
that
down
many,
heads,
though.
I should think.
They've missed a
No,
few.
no. They've only scored 6 out of the 10.
How many they had?
10.
Scored 6, missed 4.
The same as Portsmouth, by the way. Which
They're averaging a pen every 3 games, nearly.
Yeah. That's why
They've got
Lee is
double
their
down
top scorer,
penalty
because
team
he's
after
their
them.
set piece taker.
Ah,
I think he scored about 5. I think, yeah, it's we're going to watch them on set pieces. They're going to be dangerous. You know, Tafazoli, if he's playing, he's been renowned for it for years. You know, you've also got to watch the likes of Gareth McCleary on the wing. You know, he's a fast little tricky winger. So they've got a bit of everything. But in terms of the next Bolton match, I wouldn't even concern that with anything in my mind, because I don't think looking past any opponent is going to do us any good. What you do is you play the team in front of you, you put your full focus into that, you play your best starting 11, and obviously if you're a couple of goals up or whatever, you can make a couple of little tweaks, maybe fetch somebody off if they look like they're a bit leggy. They've just had a week off though. They should be able to play these next two games full 90 minutes without a problem. The young fit men, I mean, our fitness department and our what is it called, physio department.
Physio.
Yeah, it's sports science and all that. I mean, it's brilliant at our club. Its facilities are really good as well. So I don't see that if there's any reason why we shouldn't be just going all out to win this game and then think about Bolton on Sunday. You know, end of the day, you just got to play your next opponent. Like I said, every game's a final now. If we look past Wycombe, we lose Wycombe, and we beat Bolton because we've been focusing on that game, what's the difference between winning Wycombe and losing to Bolton? There's no difference. Just play us in front of you.
no, I agree. I think that's a very good point. Before we go on to predictions, quickly, I want a yes, no from all of you. Andy, will we finish in the top 2?
No.
No, interesting. Al, I'm assuming you're going to go for a yes on the Centurion season and first.
Yes.
Ooh, top 2 from Al.
Big yes.
Mr. Mid-Table Craig.
Yes.
Oh my
interesting.
goodness.
I didn't realize Andy, you're so negative on this
I
show.
just think Bolton and Derby, I think they're doing a Chef Wednesday special, you know, like Chef Wednesday at the end of last season. Slippery slope once you get started with that drawing and losing like.
I do think it seems, obviously, it started a bit with Peterborough first when we were sort of in and around Peterborough, and they sort of started to slide off a bit and have a dip in form, and we've now got a bit of a gap between us and them. And I think we've slowly but surely, like, almost gone under the radar in a way of slowly catching up to that like top 3, top 2 positions. And then Saturday were almost like the game that solidified us as we actually might have a decent chance at top 2. Why do you think no, Andy?
Just ask every week. Just ask every week and it might change. Because I think the danger is getting giddy. And I absolutely agree with Craig. One game at a time, and Al, one game at a time. Concentrate on the next game. If we win that, it makes it a bit better. Lose to Bolton, lose to Bolton, and it gives them 3 points extra above us. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure on lads, and I agree. We're not going to be the only team that have got however many cup finals left, depending which team it is with games in hand and what have you. But it's who's gonna deal with it. I think we've certainly got the capability to deal with it. But although there's games in hand, points make prizes, and you know you don't count on winning the games. You know, a draw would be a good result in some games. So I think we're a good bet for the playoffs. A good bet for the playoffs, and I keep my fingers crossed that it could be higher. But
I believe, Andy. I believe it's not giddy, Andy. I believe in Neil Collins, John Stead, and Devaney to keep them grounded, to keep them going in the right direction, and to push on. And I think it's time now we can push on. And I'm certain that you see at end of game, are the players united? Everything's there to play for now.
The Miners were united, Al, but they got defeated in end. You can't always tell, Al. You can only try.
And another thing that I've been looking at as well is not just our mentality in the way. I mean, nobody's said top 2 for us all season, so we've not had that expectation on our shoulders. Derby and Bolton have had it since the first weekend, you know. And if you look at them players after they finished their matches yesterday, every head dropped, especially on Derby. Derby looked absolutely beaten, you know, and we saw Bolton, they just got aggressive. They got so annoyed, you know, and having that expectation on your shoulders and not being able to perform to it can sometimes be one of the worst things that can happen to a squad. Well, people are wanting in every hour on Twitter, apparently, you know. So you see what I mean? It's like, it's not just how we're reacting to everything, it's how they're going to react as well. And I don't think they've been told all season, oh, you're going to be top 2, you're going to be automatic. And, you know, it's got into the psyche now, and now they've lost a couple of games. Now they're going to start really getting soiled trousers, should we say.
I'm surprised, Mr. Simcox. I'm surprised Mr. Simcox, I'm saying Mr. Simcox, doesn't want us to go up automatic.
That's not
because
true.
It's going to cost him, if we get it playoffs, it's going to cost him more money.
He did say, did you want him to? He says, do you think they're going to go up in top 2? Not do you want them to?
I'll keep it simple, Al, for you, because I know you might need it. I don't want to put pressure on our players. So I think they've done well to get in the playoffs, considering where a lot of people thought they'd be. We're a team in transition. They've done incredibly well. And I do hope that we have a push, but I don't want to put pressure on them. We've got at least 3 teams above us so far who've been put under inordinate pressure by their fans. I don't want to put them under pressure. And so that's why I'm saying playoffs, because I'm not going to put them under any pressure. I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm saying I don't want to pressurise them into it.
To be fair, they all do watch, so I'm assuming they'll be taking this on board. And knowing that we're easing the pressure on them. Well, you are, whilst Alan a bit bitterly disappointed not to see top 2 or that first place. Right, predictions for Saturday. There's no point going to Andy because we all know what you're going to say, so we might as well go around everyone else first, starting with Al.
It's not going to be easy. Last night, they beat Cheltenham and they fought to death, didn't they? They got 2 late goals to win 86th minute, 89th minute. So they did what we did other week, isn't it? So the fight till the final whistle. They're on their own patch. I don't know. Do I go a draw or do I go positive?
What?
I'll go positive.
A draw? After automatic promotion? What's wrong with you? Alan, get into the club shop and buy one of them T-shirts. Get a T-shirt bought, Al.
Shut up.
Oh, dear me.
Have it.
Get a T-shirt bought.
Have it. I was going to go a draw, but I'm going now for a 2-0. Sure, you see, you didn't really see where I was going. I wanted to do an Andy Simcox, and he's cut me down in my prime.
You can't join our club.
2-0.
2-0.
I think Misfits should be ringing these two up.
We'll get some real YouTube influencer boxing going on then.
We don't card
Between
next
these
week.
two.
Callum Simpson, we don't
Gotta
card.
get Callum on phone, haven't we? Yeah, come on, you got a spare spot for these two. I'm sure they'll only go a couple of rounds.
Who's in my corner? Is it Craig or Josh in my corner?
It's all right. We're staying out of it. We'll let Callum Simpson train both of you.
That's it. We'll be on commentary.
Yeah, we'll do that instead. Craig, what do you reckon?
I think it's gonna be a tough game, but I think that we've got the stronger squad, and I think we've got the momentum. They're at home, but our away form's been brilliant all season. We're scoring. We're not really. 3-1. I think it's going to be 3-1.
Ooh, like it. Very positive. Andy, go on.
There's no point to me saying. You have to watch the away end to see what I've predicted.
Let me guess. It's going to be 2-1 Reds, isn't it?
Think what you want, Craig.
It's signed an NDA, lads. It's signed an NDA.
I'm true to myself, true to my principles. Make of it as you will.
So I'm gonna go out on a whim here and assume you might have gone for a 2-1 win.
Who knows? Possible.
You can find out on the away end though. That's when you can find out instead. I'm gonna go 1-0. I'll go 1-0. I think it'll be
shocked.
tricky. I think it'll be a tricky game, but I think we'll get over the line. I think we might cut out these silly goals as well that we keep giving away. I'd almost like to see a 0-0 just for the fact that we can stop doing that and it's more of a solid foundation to build from. Not that the goal into Derby wasn't necessarily a silly one to give away, but it's just I think them clean sheets need to start coming as well. I think that was the final thing just to polish up on this good, rich frame of form in which we are on.
And the 23 match now scoring streak.
Yes, which is it almost the longest one we've been on? I can't remember if I saw it on BFC stats. I think it's going back quite a while. I can't remember that one, but it might be almost the longest scoring streak we've been on. We might do 2 more games, I think, to beat it. But it's one from a while ago. Right. It's been alluded to throughout the show, but there is an away end which will be coming out tomorrow evening.
Who's in that?
Andy.
What?
Not mentioned that before.
Exactly. It might come as a surprise to some of you, but there'll be a Wycombe away end out tomorrow with Andy, and then we're back on Sunday with a reaction show to Wycombe and also previewing the Reds against Bolton. We'll see you there, you Reds.